Hello and welcome to another episode of the GCN Tech Clinic, where we aim to answer your bike and tech related questions. As ever, you can submit your questions to us using the hashtag AskGCNTech in the comments section down below and on social media, and we'll do our best to get through as many of them as possible. So without further ado, let's crack on with this week's questions. I'm also going to cover up the lockdown here with the new GCN Castelli casquette. There you go. The first question this week comes from Mr. Ty Andel, who says, "Hey Manon, I've just bought a new road bike and I'm commuting on it at the moment, but I'm not sure if I'm locking it up securely. I'm worried it's going to get stolen. Please, could you give me a few tips on how best to lock it up?" Well, first, great that you've started commuting. I think that could be a silver lining to the whole kind of corona lockdown cloud, is that more people are getting on bikes and starting to use it as a mode of transport. And if that is one good thing that can come out of this, that's great. Now, as for locking up your bike and keeping it secure, we could do a whole video on this. It's a massive topic, and it is actually something that I've now put on my to-do list as a video I'm going to make in the future, because I think there's so much kind of detail and useful information you can give people about this. That said, I'm going to give you some key points, right? And just try and be as concise as I can. So first thing, I don't know how nice your bike is, but I would never commute on a super nice bike. The reason being that no lock in the world will stop a determined thief. Also, a bike you commute on is going to take a fair amount of abuse. And, you know, in the same way that you wouldn't use a Lamborghini Aventador as your daily driver, I don't know, maybe you would, but most of us wouldn't. You know, you're not going to commute on your best bike. The next thing I'd say is get a really good lock. Now, locks are graded, so you have like this gold standard literally for locks, which is called like gold, safe, secure, and that's like the top level locks. If they're given that rating, they are the most secure. And I'd also say get more than one lock, and also not just two of the same kind. It's better to have two different types of locks, so good quality D lock and then a different, like a really good quality like chain lock, and then you can secure them on different parts of your bike. This is because different locking systems often require thieves to have different tools to break them, and this means that they're going to need to have those two different tools to get your bike, and it makes their life a little bit more difficult. The downside of having, you know, two good quality locks is that locks are quite heavy, so lugging them around can be a bit of a pain, especially when you're commuting. But if you are commuting, you could consider maybe leaving one of the locks, or both of them, at where your destination is, at your place of work, so you don't have to lug them around all the time. Thieves often look for easy targets, so the 3 rules in a nutshell: don't commute on something that is a real, like, to bling a bike. Make life hard for the thieves by locking it in an awkward place and also a more secure place, and have some decent locks, and that's pretty much the best that you can do. But yeah, let's hope the scumbags don't get your bike. Next question is from NT2883, who says, "Why is it that we tend to use matched pairs of tyres on road bikes? Front and rear tyres have vastly different jobs, and no doubt everyone is familiar with wearing out, you know, your rear tyres before your front tyres. Why don't we use a 23 soft compound on the front for aero and cornering and braking grip, and then a harder compound like a 25 or a 28 on the rear for comfort, puncture resistance and lower rolling?" That is a really, really good question. It's an interesting question, and I would say that in the case of, say, time trial bikes as well, yeah, you're absolutely spot on. We see it in most cars. You know, most cars have different tyres on, performance cars especially have, you know, different tyres on the front to the back for added traction as well. You know, you would want, ideally on a TT bike, the dream scenario would be, yeah, a narrower tyre that's better for aero, and then a wider tyre on the back that's got better rolling resistance. But that would then have to also be able to fit within the clearance of the frame, and ideally be flush with the disc wheel on a time trial bike as well, to maximise the aerodynamics of that. But it can be wider because it's not a leading edge. Continental did do their Attack and Force tyres a few years ago, which are their front and rear specific. but they never really took off and were as popular as other tyres in the Continental range. And I suspect this is because, although the rolling resistance on them was quite low, it was never as low as just running two Continental GPTT tyres. So maybe, I mean, I can speculate that if Continental did perhaps, or another tyre brand did perhaps make a front and rear specific tyre that was made from their kind of fastest technology, their fastest tyres, don't know, maybe it would take off and be popular. But I'd say give it a go, put your tyres on and let us know how you get on. Next question is from James McKernan, who says, hi guys, I'm looking at buying a direct drive turbo trainer. When I'm changing over, will I need to re-index my gears every time? So he's asking this question because if you're unfamiliar, a direct drive turbo trainer has a cassette mounted on it. So you take your rear wheel and cassette out of your bike and put your bike on it onto the cassette on the trainer. Well, the answer is no, you shouldn't, as long as your cassettes are the same on both your trainer and your bike. So you need to have like the same number of cogs. It needs to be an 11-speed cassette and an 11-speed cassette. And ideally the same ratio. So if you've got an 1128 on your bike, have an 1128 on your turbo trainer. That said, if there is a slight difference, you should be okay with getting away with it. For example, I often put my bike on the turbo and it's an 1130 on my bike and an 1128 on the turbo, and well, it seems to work absolutely fine. So if it's a slight mismatch, you should be okay. This is also consistent within races. Riders will often have an 1130 cassette on their bike, and then they'll get a neutral service wheel that is an 1128, and they'll swap it out, and they work kind of fine. They just lose the cog. But yeah, should be fine. Next question is from Eric Omar Pabon Crespo. That's a cool name, I like that. He says, hi guys, I'm relatively new to bike commuting. Another one, nice. I've noticed that my chainring has some worn out or uneven teeth. Is this normal? Also, I have already done over 400 miles on it. How much mileage does the bike have to go before I need to service it? And, you know, changing bits like the tyres, the brakes, the chain, do they all have different mileages to service them? Yeah, they do. Different parts wear at different rates, unfortunately. And in terms of the time scale of how long it takes for a component to wear out, unfortunately, it's that classic, how long is a piece of string? It varies from person to person, and it varies on the miles that you put on your bike. So if you're riding in the rain and in salt and, you know, things like that, and you don't clean your bike often, they'll wear out real quick. If you're riding in nice dry conditions and you regularly clean your bike, they last ages. So just stay on top of the maintenance and you'll get more life out of it. Now, regarding your chain rings and are the teeth worn, if your bike was used when you bought it, the chain rings might be worn if it's had a lot of use. But I'm guessing that you bought it new and it only has done 400 miles. That's not much for chain rings. They normally last way, way, way longer than that. So I'm guessing that they're not worn. What you might be seeing is the the deliberate machining of the chain rings. So chain rings are deliberately cut to be uneven and jagged at special angles. This is called ramping, and this is there to help guide the chain when you change gear from one chain ring to the other, and it makes it more smooth. It's a deliberate feature that's engineered into the chain rings, so don't worry about that. But you can normally tell when chain rings are worn out. They do look really kind of, well, like a sort of shark's mouth, and you can see that they're really worn, especially after you've cleaned your bike. But if you want to see what ramping looks like, do like a Google image search of it and of close-up of chainring teeth, and you'll get a good idea of what it should look like. Next question is from Sick Coon Lim, who says, hi Ollie, I recently just joined a bicycle group and they're commenting on my cadence. My question is there such a thing as a proper cadence? I prefer my cadence to be between 65 and 75, and I can ride just fine. But the group leader said it's better to ride in 85 to 95 cadence. What is right? Well, I like this question. 65 to 75 RPM is definitely on the lower side of what you'd get. And if you are new to cycling, that's quite normal. I often see beginner cyclists do have a lower cadence, and as you cycle more and get more experienced and develop the sort of requisite musculature, you do start to find that cyclists' cadence increases slightly and you do become smoother on the pedals. It's just practice, and it's something that happens fairly naturally as you progress, and isn't something that I think you really need to worry about too much. In fact, it's something that I myself have improved on a lot just even this year, and I've been cycling a very long time. I took my cadence from being about sort of 90 average to 100 average, and it was something that I did through riding on the track a lot through winter, and it actually made me feel a lot smoother on the bike, which is nice. But cadence can also be highly individual. So, classic example, Tony Martin, one of the greatest time trialists there's ever been, multiple world champion in that discipline, also known as Der Panzerwagen, because he was just an absolute tank. Now, he usually averaged around 75 RPM when he was time trialing, which is pretty low for someone, a pro like him, but he was clearly very, very effective. And interestingly, one of his biggest rivals was Bradley Wiggins, and Wiggins was time trialing at around 100 RPM cadence. And one of the things he did to beat Tony Martin and win the World Championships time trial was work on lowering his cadence and becoming a more powerful rider and averaging around sort of 85 RPM. So, you know, there you go, swings and roundabouts. But then on the other side of the coin, you've got Chris Froome, who spins his legs like a washing machine, well over 100 RPM, to devastating effect. So there is no one size fits all, but what I would recommend is do some cadence drills in your workouts and your training, and this is a great sort of neuromuscular workout and is really good for getting good pedaling technique and efficiency and working on your core as well. Next question is from Adam Salcedo, who says, hi Ollie, I'm Adam and I'm 15 years old. I've competed since 5 years ago, and right now I'm in a cycling academy, a team for young people 12 to 18, created by Luis Angel Mate and Dario Cataldo and Vincenzo Nibali. That's pretty awesome. I would like to know which type of power meter could be the best for me. Considering my age, when I train indoors, there's no problem because he's got a smart trainer with a power meter. But when it's outdoors, I need a reference to complete my workouts easier. Can you suggest a specific model? Greetings from Malaga. Well, wish I was in Malaga right now. I would say, if you're on a budget, then some of the most affordable power meters are things like the single-sided 4i power meters that are the non-drive side crank arms. They're also pretty easy to fit. It's a decent budget option. Or you could do the tactic, which a lot of people did and I used to do, which is to do your power-specific workouts where you really need to know the numbers and be really on it. Do those on the indoor trainer. You can often be much more efficient to do so. And then do other workouts like long endurance rides and other types of intervals like sprints and things like that outside, where you don't need to be too focused on the numbers and you can focus more on feel. One thing I would say is that at sort of 15 years old, you're still really young. The main thing to do is to make sure that it's fun and you're enjoying it, and not, I would say, to get too bogged down in the numbers. I know plenty of young riders who've recently turned professional, and when they were your age, they never rode to power and had power meters, and they are seriously good riders now. What they did have though, they didn't have a power meter. What they did have was lots of fun. So, happy athletes are fast athletes. Remember that. Next question is, and this is the last question this week, sorry about that, is from Jessica Severin, who says, hi Ollie and Manon, I'm running a set of 2013 Campagnolo Camzin wheels, nice wheels, classics, from 1992 on a Cannondale CAD 2.8. They're getting a bit older now, the rear's a tiny bit out of true, about 1 to 2 millimeters, and the bearings, they're cup and cone, are not as smooth as they were when they were new. These are, relatively inexpensive wheels, but they've been a great workhorse and I still enjoy riding them. Is it worth trying to DIY service them, get the wheels true and the bearings nice, or should I just enjoy riding them until they're dead? Since they were cheap, I can't see myself taking them to a shop and paying them to get them serviced. I would say having a go at servicing your bearings in your wheel would be a great skill to learn, and a great thing to do. And there's videos on it. We've done videos on it, and it would be a good thing to practice on a sort of wheel set that is maybe way past its best anyway. And again, looking at truing them, if they're only just out slightly, it'll be a fairly easy job to do, and we also have videos on that. I mean, the usual reason for retiring a set of wheels and getting a new pair is, especially if they're rim brake wheels, is that there's excessive rim wear. The rim has become concave, it's past its kind of safety limit and is in danger of sort of collapsing. You know, the rim wears away over time. But, you know, I think you probably sound like, if your rims aren't worn, it might be worth trying to get a bit more use out of these excellent cams in, seeing as they've served you off so well. And then eventually, when you do upgrade them, well, your new wheels will feel blooming amazing, won't they? Which is always nice. That's all we've got time for this week. So I hope you've enjoyed the show and found it useful. And don't forget to get your questions coming in down below in the comments using the hashtag AskGCNTech. And if you want to support the channel, like what we do, head over to GC or shop.global cycling network. Get yourself a casket. Si still doesn't have his yet. That's why I'm wearing mine. Yeah. Brilliant. Right, bye.